live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and we're live on Instagram. Good morning, folks. Good morning. Good show ahead of us here. Lots to talk about, and of course, we'll moving on quick because construction outside my office can happen at any time, at any moment, and so we got to stay ahead of that. I hate to have jackhammering coming through the sound, but good morning, folks. Good morning. Uh, 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 whew. There we go. A little stretch, a little bit of a stretch. So, per usual, do check out Seejeanty on location. www.youtube.com/Seejeanty for a bunch of really cool content related to Haiti. We have a lot of different places we've been to throughout our time casting, and if you haven't checked out our trip to Fort Jacques, for example, haven't checked out our trip to half a dozen restaurants or so. Do check that out, and we have a really cool episode coming this Saturday. So make sure you're subscribed and your notifications on so you're one of the first people who can catch that episode when it drops. Haiti Biz News website, everything that we talk about today, you can find at HaitiBizNews.com. That's one word, HaitiBizNews.com. We crawl the entire internet and we grab relevant news stories related to business and convert it to English and allow you to review and read at your leisure while you're sipping your cup of coffee, right? So do make it a point, take a look at that site. It's a resource created just for you. BookHaiti.com as well is another resource. Once things calm down a little bit in the country, just know that we have travel agents, concierge services, and pre-packaged excursion trips for you to purchase, and Haiti is really a place you enjoy tremendously more if you have somebody to accompany you and show you all the cool parts and safety as well, right? That's a big part as well, and all the folks who are watching my YouTube stuff, it was really important that we were able to connect them with travel agents in-house to ensure they had a good time and a good trip. Remember, Banj FM still raising funds for Banj FM. There's a community center focused on business and entrepreneurship, and they were affected by protests a few weeks ago, where their entire facility was looted beyond recognition, and so we're trying to push and get them back on. So if you haven't donated yet, remember you can provide whatever you can, $5-10. Last I checked, they were pushing 22,000 of their $50,000 goal. And if you can't provide anything to them, share their GoFundMe on your page, get that story out and get some coverage, some additional funds maybe from friends and associates who are in a little better spot and who can't, right? So Haiti Biz News Show, Monday to Friday, bringing you news as I keep you informed, engaged, and reacting in the most optimal way for your business, investment, entrepreneur activity. Today is the 8th of October. Let's talk about it. Let's hit the headlines. One of the things we, of course, got to talk about is the updates of the protests and what's been going on. I can tell you personally, I was able to run a lot of errands in my office here in Haiti. The protests are very much concentrated right now in Chamas, basically the government administrative buildings is where they're concentrated right now. The situation is still very tense. They're still very tense. I am aware that the taps and transportation was almost non-existent, even around my area, with a lot of folks just generally feeling uncomfortable to be taking their vehicles out, to be picking people up, because again, at any point, at any time, things could flare up. Today is supposed to be a day of rest for the protesters, and I believe they're going to pick back up either tomorrow or Thursday. So today should be a relatively quiet, normal day, but we'll keep an eye on things. The judicial year started, meaning for the courts, the judges were back, the courts are operating once again, and but protesters took advantage of that and made a point to focus again their protests where the main court is, the Court of Cassation and which is sort of like the Supreme Court, and and with the goal of making their voice heard to the courts as well. But of course, we already know the last thing that came out the courts was the investigation that indicted or implicated President Jovenel Moise with several counts of corruption through his company that he ran at the time, Agitron, right? So the court certainly are on the side of the people. There's no doubt about that. And something to note too, we haven't had a raise for any judge anywhere in the country for the past 10 years, which is why they were protesting relatively a couple months ago, where they were not, functioning with due reason. Again, over 10 years. And remember, we just had a 40% drop in the good. If they get paid in the good, they got a 40% drop in the good a few days back or a few months ago, right? Which is certainly problematic. And the opposition's new strategy, poser sceller, which is blocking all institutions, our government revenue generating institutions, is their current focus now going forward. So we can expect any DGE office, which is the tax office in Haiti. We can expect customs, anywhere where the government potentially would be or could have been making revenue, protesters to be there, making it very difficult to function. And that's their current goal. The economic activity of the country has been basically squeezed out of existence. Currently, I can tell it's very difficult for a lot of companies right now. Retail stores, a lot of them are closing early, if not opening at all. And now, with the economy, basically truncated, their goal now is to attack the government revenue industries to, again, all with the goal of forcing President Jovenel Moise out. For his credit, I suppose, there has been increasingly more talk coming out of his camp, where stating that he's certainly, the negotiations, the dialogue that he's been seeking, he is willing to put his resignation on the table as a conversational item. Where before it wasn't a conversation item at all, right? And so, again, there's more and more sources coming, but though I've still heard other sources saying that that's not going to happen, he's going to ride it out, because again, starting January, since elections for senators and deputies could not happen, he would be ruling by decree from January onward to the potentially end of his 3 years. So the opportunity to basically do whatever he wants is a very positive motivator to try to ride this wave out, if he can ride it out, if the country can ride it out, right? Because ultimately it's the country that's suffering at the moment because of these plays, right? We have Kit Kat over at IG asking what government revenue. There's very little revenue as a whole. That's the thing. That's the biggest misconception about Haiti. Haiti raises enough money to potentially, run itself appropriately, invest in what needs to be done. But the problem is that most of it goes out the side door through corruption. The reality is Haiti doesn't have a money problem, it has a corruption problem, it has an expenditure problem, it has a leadership problem. It doesn't have a money problem. Certainly, that's why I'm still very confident that if with the right leadership, someday this country could turn around very easily within 10 years. 10 years. I truly believe in 10 years, this country could turn around and be a country on par with DR and other countries. Some other news stories we want to talk about, because I'm hearing the crews outside prepping. So we got to hit this through very aggressively here. We have Caribbean Craft. It's very sad story. It was a company that manufacturer of, let's say a workshop for artisans, and they would create different. I think I heard my name, and I think I heard my name. They're trying to get my generator to get going. Let's see if I can run through this really quick. And they employed over 200 people with a network of 250 artisans, and they were burnt down. They were burnt down here because of. Let's see here. I think that. 1 second, guys. 1 second, guys. All right, we got some time. We got some time, folks. I do apologize for leaving the stream there. I have to communicate with the construction crew to see if I can get a couple more minutes to chat with you guys. So they employed 200 people with a network of 250 artisans, and they were burnt down. They were burnt down over during the protests. Now, they weren't a specific target. The Avis rental car next door was a target. Still a business, unfortunately, still a business. And they were heavily, they were burnt down as well. And the fire moved over to Caribbean Craft and burnt them down. And it's a tremendous loss for the community, tremendous loss for the business community. The 250 jobs, the 200 jobs that were employed full-time, full-time and seasonal staff, in addition to, again, the 250 artisans that really depended on, getting their products through Caribbean Craft on Caribbean Craft's website. I've heard that Caribbean Craft, I've heard a quits from them. I believe they are going to try to rebuild and get back going because they were doing an incredible mission. And that's one thing too that's really important in Haiti. If you're going to run a very large operation, it's very important to make sure you purchase insurance, fire insurance in particular, because it happens. It happens, and insurance coverage is something you can purchase. The cost, I don't know exactly what the cost is. I can imagine it certainly would be a non-negligible item, certainly. But certainly that's something one has to keep in mind, and also add their cost basis in the country, because the reality is, even during times of non-protest, you can have wires crossed and a fire started in your facility. And again, given that there is limited firefighter presence, I think there's only 2 in the entire metro area, small little fire that potentially could be stopped in America, you will lose your entire shop otherwise. So again, fire insurance is very important, something you must consider in the country. The next news story is floods in Ouanaminthe. Floods in Ouanaminthe being a city on the border, about centrally placed in the central district here in Haiti. Massive floods affecting 3,800 families. 40 homes are completely gone. 384 homes are damaged. Road and infrastructure and bridges are, a lot of places just washed out. And haven't really heard any places talking about that just yet. It's a tremendous problem for the people in Ouanaminthe. And we'll watch once I get any word about recovery relief. I will share that information with you guys. The next news story, and the final news story, has to do with Mexican immigration. We've had Haitian migrants suffering limb paralysis, intentional bleeding, epidemic problems. Again, it's a typo there. Vomiting, dehydration, right? And most recently, we had 2 Haitian refugees who died in the facility. And this facility is the southern province on the border of Guatemala. And one of the refugees was a pregnant woman. The story itself is very disheartening, because what happened in this case was the woman was very sick, and getting proper medical treatment or explaining the situation, they simply move that person out and to the street, and the woman died in the streets, unfortunately. And that's the news story there. Certainly, it's one of the reasons why when people look at me crazy and say, what's going on? Why are you here, Chris, in the country, trying to do business? There's stories like that. Because without a concentrated effort of people coming in, not just the political activist part, because that's going to happen, and that doesn't really change anything. But if people don't come back to the country to invest and really focus on enterprises that can start jobs and structure their businesses, that, it's going to be difficult. Yeah, you may get a fire, but the bigger mission isn't charity. The bigger mission is to create an enterprise that's going to last and be successful, to prevent the need for people to have to leave the country and die pregnant, sick on the streets in another country. It's really the responsibility of any Haitian or anyone who really wants to do good for the country to see again how they can structure their affairs in a way that's going to drive jobs, drive economic growth. Meanwhile, the country fights for an improved situation. So that's where we're going to end it. We're going to have to keep things very short here, guys. I do apologize. Farrah Jackson, good morning. Good to see you. Always appreciated to have my consistent folks here in the channel. We're going to keep it real short because we have construction going to happen. I'm going to try the rest of this week to actually start a little earlier. We're going to aim to be on air maybe 6:30. This way I can take my time a little bit and report the news in how we're used to reporting it. So again, if you guys want to catch it live tomorrow, try to be on. Try to see if you can 6:30 a.m. EST for that. And as always, HaitiBizNews.com for your daily dose of content of information. HaitiBizNews.com. All right, guys. Appreciate it. We're back tomorrow early. We'll take our time. Until we're back at it again, guys. We'll be back at it again. Peace.